back. Season 1, Episode 2. Season 1, Episode 2. Talking Cool. Will Smith, not the actor. With you today. We on IntellectualRadio-Podcast. Can be found anywhere podcasts are found. Again, this is your host with the most, Will Smith. And man, you know what? I'm on fire today. I'm hyped up. I'm hyped with some amps. You know, as Public Enemy said back in the day. If you all recall on last week's show, we talked about choices. We talked about, first of all, the foundation for what this show is all about charges me up. And I came up to the studio. I'm driving on the expressway, coming down Chicago to Windy City, and I came through the door, and I said it before. I never let this mic magnetize me no more, but it was fighting me, inviting me to talk about choices. And choices, and when we talk about making good choices, guys, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, man, I can't do that in one show. And we gonna cover some life stuff really quick. And again, talking cool, man, we talking about this show is for anybody, man oriented, no matter what your age is, no matter what your color is, no matter if you rich, if you poor, you live on the west side, south side, east side, if you don't live on those side, you bouncing from spot to spot right now, it's cool. I got you. I get it. It don't matter. It don't matter if you ain't never been arrested before. It don't matter if you've been arrested over and over and over again. In fact, the ones that's been arrested over and over and over again, that's why we talking cool, baby. We're not talking fools. We talking cool. And I want you all to especially listen to this show. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. And this for the guys. Like I said, we talked about girl power is good. Black girls rock. That's cool. I know you are rolling through the fire, and you a lion, and we gonna hear you roar. I know Beyonce said girls rule the world. I get all that. But this is the motivation for the men, because brothers matter. And so we talking cool to the men of appeal, to the men out there. We talking to you. So let's talk about choices. And I was thinking about choices and that we make as men, and that we make as people. And it's so much that's going on out there, and just trying to decrease recidivism, just trying to increase peace, in the world. And I'm a peaceful dude. I'm all about peace, and wrong is wrong, no matter what it is. Two wrongs to me is that there's still that old school philosophy that two wrongs don't make a right. And so, I'm listening to people. We got this social climate going on. We got people being assassinated, and wrong is wrong, and we choose the type of energy. Well, as we talk about choices today, we choose the type of energy that we want to put into the world. And for me, I'ma always choose, for the most part. For the most part, I ain't saying I'm perfect, but for the most part, I'ma always try to choose the positive energy that's there, because what Stevie Wonder said, love is in need of love. There was a song out called "What the World Needs Now Is Love, Sweet Love." We need more love, and you got individuals, regardless of what their viewpoint was, regardless of what stance they were taking, and just being assassinated, just being killed, just being taken off the grid, just because somebody didn't like what they said. Ain't about what they did. It ain't like they was hurting anybody. It's about what they said, what they felt, what they believed. And if we live in a world where you can't express your belief without being killed, then we need to do some improvement to the world that we live in. So we should never, especially as a people, man, I'm coming. Y'all know our history. I'm coming as a people. We know our history. We ain't nothing new to assassinations. You go down the line. Malcolm X, you go down the line. Martin Luther King, you go down the line. I'm right here. I'm down the street from where the Black Panther Party leader was executed. I'm right down the street from it. We ain't no strangers to it. But two wrongs don't make a right. Choosing, making choices, people. That's what this thing is all about. And that leads me into our discussion for the day. Guys, when we talk about choices, one of the most important things that you can do, what I would say is when you're trying to get on the right track, I'm coming from, I'm a lifelong social worker. I've been in the trenches, I'm in the weeds. I'm not one of those people that sit from afar. You call me in, I'm like SWAT. I'm special ops. You call me in when everything that you've been trying to do ain't been working. I done work for the school system here in Chicago as a social worker. I done work for the Department of Children, Family and Services. I've been on call like Batman for SAS, going out into the communities when somebody's was having a mental health moment. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock at night. I always tell people, you'd be surprised what's going on in the world when you under the covers at home in your bed. You just be surprised at what's going on with some of these families out there. And then for 23 years, y'all get this, man. For 23 years, I was a federal probation officer. Oh man, I heard Ice-T say, he said one time, he said, if you the best way to change the system, you got to infiltrate the system. Ah, man, and they fooled around, they let me in. They let me in. Things changed around there a little bit. They changed because I had to choose the type of dude that I was going to be. And so when you choose who you're going to be, that sets a tone for what happens in your life. The choices you make dictate what goes on in your life. The I remember as a federal officer, it was election time, and it was time to make a choice. We're talking about choices, voices that help you make choices. Yeah, and so we're talking about choices, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and we just talking cool. I don't mean to harm nobody. We ain't trying to offend nobody. I ain't saying everything I'm saying is right. But we just talking cool. And so, and we talking cool right here on IntellectualRadio.com. I just got to throw that in. And then making choices about who to vote for. And I ain't here to tell you who to vote for, who to not vote for. That's never what I'm going to do. But I remember some of my guys on supervised release, some of my people on probation. Their main premise for casting a vote that they were going to vote was because there was a bill signed that reduced my sentence and got me out early. And if that's who signed it, that's who I'm voting for. I said, well, what about this? What about some of these things that's being said? Got me out early. I said, well, what about all the other stuff that they be saying that's derogatory to race, gender, ethnicity, progress? Man, got me out early. Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. Well, and then I had a few of them even say, but I know you. I think you're racist. I said, you what? I said, I think you're racist, but I'm still gonna vote for him because at least I know what he is. I said, oh, that's your premise. And he signed the bill to get me out early. Choices, man. Man, choices today influence what go on tomorrow. And so, and I always like to remind my people of the history. Understanding what racism, slavery was all about. I mean, brothers was being castrated for no reason. Brothers was being hung for no reason. Brothers was being mutilated for no reason. Sisters was being raped, chastised, beat for no reason. Man, if you really get into the weeds of what racism is all about, man, it's too deep. And it was by any means necessary that we were going to keep these people oppressed. And so if I say, just think about it. If I say this is what I'm voting for, I can't be surprised when stuff in the school books is getting erased. Oh, I can't be surprised when the National Guard is coming in and we're going to sit on right on top of where these people are at. I can't be surprised when money is taken away from programs that help people like me get on my feet, get up and going. I shouldn't be surprised that when diversity, equity, and inclusion is being talked about, and this is just to let me get interviewed. It ain't like I'm not qualified, but just allow me the opportunity to get interviewed for the job and see if I can shine. Because it's a time where no matter what your qualifications are, you can't even get an interview. That's why the NFL started that Rooney Rule. Remember, fellas? That's why the NFL, because we relate stuff better to sports. The Rooney Rule was all about, hey, NFL owners, y'all just hiring people. Hey, interview a brother. That's what the rule said. Interview a brother. We ain't saying you gotta hire him, but just interview a brother. And that's the modern day. This wasn't happening back in the 70s. This ain't a rule that was started back in the 80s. This is like now. You gotta interview a brother. Give him a shot. You might like him. You might end up being a good coach. But when those type of opportunities are taken off the table, and now we don't have to have a certain percentage of this, of a racial or a gender. We don't have to have women, in roles. We don't have to have this. Now we can just do the good old boy network. And I voted for him though, because he signed the bill that reduced sentencing so I can get out early. Now I'm gonna dig a little bit deep. I'm about to go deep on this. It's just a thought. I ain't saying I'm right, but I'm also not saying that I'm wrong. This is why we need to think about our choices that we make. When we vote for this and when we vote for that, and when we don't take into account 360. As an officer, we used to talk about 360 awareness. I just can't just take a look at what's happening in front of me. And I kind of need to know what's going on all around me, because there's a threat can come from either angle, either direction. I can't get so focused on what's in front of me, which is he signed the bill that got me out early, that I don't take a look at everything else. So remember last week we gave some statistics on recidivism. We talked about the high recidivism rate. Remember on the last episode, we talk about big bang bucks and business of the prison system. There are prisons that get paid billions of dollars from the feds to house inmates, private prisons. Billions that's their profit. That's after they paid off everything. So keeping people incarcerated is big business. So when I was thinking about what my brothers were saying, because even though what they said took me by alarm, I said, let me think about it, because I might be tweaking. I might be wrong. I got to be cool with it. Let me be cool with it, and let me see if somebody is really trying to educate me. And then I looked around, and I took a look at it a little bit deeper. Now, when I think about the recidivism rates, remember, he signed the bill to let me out. We're talking about choices and making sure we make the right choices. And this is just an example that we're using for the moment to kick off the show. Recidivism rate in America is 67%. That means, guess what? And I can guarantee the person who won the office didn't sign the bill. He didn't create that part about reducing sentencing for inmates. That was thrown in there by probably another whole nother party. But because the bill had in it, that we got to know how bills work. All right. You give me 10 things that I want, since we got all the power and control, I'll give you 3 things that you want. If y'all want the sentence reduction, I'll sign the bill. But y'all got to give me this. We reducing Medicare. We reducing Medicaid. We taking away these grants. We taking away those grants. But We let them out. But guess what? The recidivism rate, people, is 67% in America. So that means I'm going to let them out knowing they're coming right back. Oh, I think the choir, let the church say amen. I'm letting them out knowing that they coming right back. All right. And so keep in mind what we say. We playing checkers. They playing chess. So yeah, I give you a sentence reduction. But according to statistics, 67% of the cats that I'm releasing, they're gonna be right back in jail doing this free labor, making us this money in 3 years. And I can even go as far as looking at some reports that say in 10 years, 82% of the people who get released, they end up being incarcerated again. Ah, man, I'll reduce your sentence. But y'all playing checkers. I'm playing chess. Y'all coming right back. And guess what? Because the 3 strikes and all this other stuff, you remember your computation points, your criminal history. Remember all your criminal history points, everything that they take into consideration. Okay, so that means that when you come back this time, I'm gonna keep you a little bit longer than I kept you the last time because you're a repeat offender. You're a threat to the community. We got you. Let's get this money. I'm just telling you, man. This is just cool talk. Will Smith, not the actor, the licensed clinical social worker coming straight out of Chicago. Let me pay some bills too. Let me pause for station identification here on IntellectualRadio.com. This message is brought to you. This is sponsored by Concepts Outside of Ordinary Limits. Cool, helping people be better. Therapy for people who are justice involved. If you're looking for somebody to work with your justice involved person, if you a justice involved person, if you got young males or older males, or just it's a diverse, culturally diverse therapist, you can reach them at 708-405-9569. Again, that's 708-405-9569. Concepts Outside of Ordinary Limits, helping people be better. Yeah, give them a call. Check them out. Real good therapist. So, choices, y'all. So, look, I'm going to lay this foundation because, like I always say, man, I don't like to be long, but I do like to be strong. The most important thing you will ever do in life is make choices. All right. And so, I'm going to lay the foundation on I got 2 choice quotes. That's going to be the premise for this show. Two choice quotes. That's just going to be the premise to the show. Then I'm going to let you all have the rest of your day. The first quote we're going to roll with is, our lives are fashioned by our choices. First, we make our choices, then our choices make us. I like this one. It says, our lives are fashioned by our choices. First, we make our choices, then our choices make us. Man, you have to choose what type of dude you're going to be. Choose what type of person you're going to be. Are you going to stand on your morals? I hear people say standing on business. I mean, well, that's cool. But what's your business? You see, so if your business is being a procrastinator, if your business is don't have a direction, if your business is you really don't care about people, life, if you really don't want to be better, if you choose to wallow in your own misery, if you make those choices, then your choices make you. All right. They make you what? A repeat offender. They may make you unsuccessful, and not unsuccessful in everybody else's eyes. Are you successful even in your own eyes? Oh man, I work with so many people. What you think about yourself? Do you choose to win? One thing I say about the show is when I on my promos for the show is it's winning season. It's winning season. Winning don't just happen. There's a culture that needs to happen in the locker room Football season just started. It's a culture that needs to happen in the locker room. It's franchises with all the talent in the world, but they can't win because they don't have a winning culture in the building. They don't have a winning mentality in the building. Oh, y'all know, everybody that know Chill Will, y'all know I'm a Cowboy fan. Dallas Cowboys, the greatest football franchise ever known to man. America's team is what they call it. You know, the team with the star on their helmet. You know, the team that just calls you when I said the name to get emotional. Because if I would have said Cleveland Browns, you would have said nothing. If I would have said Pittsburgh Steelers, you would have said nothing. If I would have said I'm a Jackson Jaguars fan, no, no, no. If I would have said, hey, man, I love the Miami Dolphins, yeah, that's cool. But the moment I said the Dallas Cowboys, you either love or you either hate it. And it's cool. It's cool. Because that's how it is in America. And when you're America's team. But for 30 years, we ain't been able to win a Super Bowl. We done had some talented cats. I mean, we've had almost more Pro Bowl players than any other franchise in the last 10 years. The franchise itself is worth $14 billion. Ain't no other franchise worth more than America's team. AT&T Stadium down in Texas. We just can't win a Super Bowl. Everybody go there. When your favorite team play the Cowboys in Dallas, you go online and get tickets, and you fly to Dallas, get your hotel room, so you can be in Jerry World. So you can be down there with America's team. Everybody love to be there. But we ain't winning because the culture in the locker room is not there. So you got to give yourself a winning culture, and you got to make winning decisions. So our lives are fashioned by our choices first. Hey, did you choose to get out of bed this morning? Did you choose to go on a job interview or not? Because if you didn't go on a job interview and you ain't got no job, that choice keeps you unemployed. Did you choose to smoke weed? Choose not to smoke weed. Did you choose to hit the X? Did you choose not to do that? What's your choices? Like going around slapping on women? That makes you a wife beater. It makes you a domestic battery. It gets you arrested. Your choices kind of makes you who you are. I like that quote. So if you unsure about where you're at, or if you don't like where you've been or what you're doing or who you think you are, let's take a look at the choices that we've been making. And if we can make better choices, and sometimes maybe you don't know what choice to make. That's why I'm here. That's why you're listening to Talking Cool, IntellectualRadio.com. That's why you're going to call our sponsor, Concepts Outside Ordinary Limits, helping people be better. 708-405-9569. They help you make better choices. So that's the first quote that I'm going to give you. But then I'm going to hit you with this other quote that I like. It says, the 3 C's of life are choices, chances, and changes. The 3 C's of life are choices, chances, and changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. The 3 C's of life are choices, chances, and changes. You must make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. Ah, that's powerful right there. Man, I'm just telling you what I know. 23 years in the game working with people that's been released from incarceration. And I say all the time, and I've been to the prisons. I've spoken at the prisons. You know, I've been in specialty programs working with people who've getting out, giving them extra help, extra resources. Man, I've been there. I've been there with them. And I tell them all the time, one of the key things I say is that your body is out of jail, but your mind is still incarcerated. I mean, your body out of jail, but your mind is still incarcerated. You refuse to make a choice to take a chance because you've convinced yourself you're not going to make it. You convince yourself you're not good enough. You convince yourself Ain't nobody gonna give you a chance. Mm, but you ain't even took the chance. So I told you I got into school, Illinois State, no, Illinois, Northern Illinois was gonna let me in on the chance program. Yeah, your grades is not up to speed, and your ACT score was a little low, but we're gonna take a chance. I took a chance and sent the application out. I didn't think they was gonna respond. They accepted me. Hmm. And you got to be willing to take a chance. You got to be willing to put yourself out there. I mean, what would Jordan be if he never wanted to take the last shot? What would Kobe be if he never wanted to take the last shot? What would Tom Brady be if he was too afraid to pull the trigger and make that pass? Oh man, I saw the Bears go 0-1. I think Caleb got all the gifts in the world, but there was several times he seemed like he was hesitant to pull the trigger and throw that ball downfield. We got guys running wide open. Caleb, pull the trigger. I know what y'all think. I thought you said you're a Cowboy fan. I'm not a hater. My favorite team is the Cowboys, but I support the Bears. I ain't gonna say I be like cheering for them. That might go a little bit too far, but I support them. I don't wish them ill, except for in 2 weeks when America's team come to town. Yeah, it's gonna be beat down time. All right, but other than that, man, I wish the Bears win. So just taking a look at the choices that you make and how they impact your world, man, that's what this show today is all about. And I want to hit you all with some real life things, some real life examples that of choices. And so your life is a result of your choices. If you don't like your life, it's time to make better choices. Remember, sometimes it's the smallest decisions that can change your life forever. Ah, man, I like that. Man, I ain't trying to fool you. I'm just trying to school you. And I ain't giving you no fool talk. I'm just giving you cool talk. Look, look, look. Sometimes it's the smallest decisions that can change your life forever. Now, I'm an old man, if this was a rocking chair, I would rock back in my chair and tell you about the time that I worked at the Hyatt Hotel, downtown Chicago on Wacker Drive. Oh, yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. I was a houseman. Yeah, houseman, we had to wear these black pants, and they gave us a white, like, top to put on. It looked like we was, uh, back in the slave houses back in the day. And I remember that we couldn't take the main elevator. You couldn't come in the main entrance, even in your regular clothes, to the hotel. You had to come in the back door, and you can only take the service elevators. I remember it like it was yesterday. And if you, for any reason, you had to walk in the main hotel area, you had to walk like off to the side, so all the patrons and the customers they walk in middle. And I'm surprised they didn't even have a rule that you could make eye contact with the people who you just off. You just and I remember I was working that job, and I was a young cat too. I was like in my 2019-ish, something like this, somewhere between 19 and 22. And I remember it was cool. Yeah, I was living for the day. And I'm gonna talk about that in a hot second. I was living for the day. And then I got this call from my auntie. She was like, "Hey, Will, got this company. They hiring. You know, you looking for a job?" And I was like, "Nah, I already got a job. Thanks." And I hung up. And when she like, "Okay." And I said, but thanks for looking out." And then I hung up. I didn't ask what the job was. I didn't ask how much it paid. I didn't ask where was it located. I was I was caught up in my world that I already had a job. Mm, guess what I did though? Guess what the good Lord did? Because when we talk about choosing what type of dude you are, I choose to be spiritual, religious, to go to church most Sundays, almost every Sunday. But we talking about who you choose to be, and so I give the credit to God. So God said, Fool, you ain't even inquire about the job. It might even be paying you more than what you. It ain't like working at the Hyatt Hotel. You getting paid top dollar. I said, yeah, you're right, God. Let me call back. So I called my auntie back. Asked her what the job was. She told me. She said, "Would you be interested?" I said, "Yeah, I'd be interested. It's better than picking up trays in the hallway, vacuuming hallway floors, or dropping linen down the chute, taking out garbage. Walk around in this outfit. Yeah, I'm interested." And so I interviewed for the job. That's a whole nother segment because we're gonna talk about employment and stuff like that later. But it's a whole nother segment on that because that was crazy. So I interviewed for the job. They fooled around and gave it to me. And so they gave me this job. It was the biggest black owned foster care agency in the state of Illinois. They had the largest traditional contract from DCFS to work with foster kids and foster parent. It was also located, get this, Miss Abramowitz was her name. She was doing it big. We was located downtown Chicago. It wasn't like a hole in the wall spot. We was on the 25th floor of the Illinois One Center building. Parking was taken care of. The office was immaculate. And guess who was working there? It was a bunch of young black men and women, and they all had their degrees. Because you had to have your degree for her to have the type of license that she had, because you at least have to have the bare minimum of a degree in psychology or something to be a case manager. So here I am, and a 19, 20-year-old cat walking into a black-owned business with a bunch of black people who got their degree. It's like unheard of. It's like I've never seen this before. And everybody was cool. Like the brothers was cool, the sisters was cool. And I got hired. My job was I was the copy boy. That's basically what it was, a copy boy. I was making copies for everybody. I made copy, and then I was like a case aide. So like if a kid needed to be transported from their foster parents' house to court, I would go pick them up and take them there. If the kid needed to go to their parent visit to see their parents for the biological visit, I would take the kid to the biological visit. All right, your hour is up. Then I take them back home. So if they need to be transported to the therapist, I would go pick them up, take them to the therapist, sit around, wait. And it was easy money. I was getting paid to do this. But it changed my life because, man, I was like, I need to go back and get my degree. Look at the black people doing their thing up in here. And I remember some of the cats was a karate experts. I remember Brian was a karate expert. He was cool. He was like Bruce Leroy. Then I remember my other Brian up in there, the light skinned legend. He had hot cars. He had this Mustang 5.0 drop top. Man, he even let me drive. It was a stick. I didn't even know how to drive a stick, but that was his thing. Cars was his thing. I remember my boy Ron was like one of my mentors. There was so many people up in there. I remember up in there, the brothers, Kevin Folks was his name. That was my mentor. That was actually the guy that hired me. I had never had a suit before. I never. They took me to Men's Warehouse. They said, Will, what's your suit size? What's your shirt size? Small, medium. No. What's your shirt size? Small, medium. What's your neck size? Neck size? What's that? Or what's your pants? Small, medium. No. What's your length? Length? What you know? What's your waist? Waist. And these cats took me to Men's Warehouse. You got me measured up. Oh, that's what they do? They wrap the thing around your neck. They hold your arms out. They measured my length of my arms. All right, measure my back. Measure from my waist down to my to the floor. Took my waist. Man, this is. I got measured up for my first suit. Slacks. All because of this small decision I made to call my auntie back. Encouraged me to go back to school. I got back into Olive Harvey. I told y'all I was a dropout. They told me, the same people there, Will, don't stop. Don't stop. Go get your bachelor's. They was all in my corner when they got my bachelor's. And they said, nah, brother, don't stop here. You got what it takes. Man, all these same people encouraged me to go get my master's degree. The name of the company I told you all was PSI. By the time I finished getting my master's degree, I had worked my way up to not only being the case manager, but I was over the licensing unit. Like, I was a boss. I was a supervisor. They called me the PSI story. Uh, you started at the bottom. Now you up here. That's what they called me. And it was no hate. It was all because of a choice to take a chance, and of a small choice to call my auntie back. Changes the rest of your life. I'm just telling y'all, take a chance. Make a choice. Take a chance. Like I tell my people when that I work with, when I give you the ball, I don't care if you go left or right. Just make a choice. Don't just stand there dribbling the ball. Go to the basket. Go left, go right. Hell, shoot. But do something. Don't just stand there with the ball in your hand, wondering why you can't score. Oh, church say, man, I'm going to have to give me some background effects on my phone so y'all can hear these, what I be thinking in my head. All right. Choices. So look, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, brothers and sisters, boys and girls. All right. I told y'all I wasn't going to be long, but I was going to be strong because there's a lot going on. And so choices, real life examples, man, I'm going to bring it down to you in a way that you understand, you know, and, you know, yeah, if y'all can see my shirt, it say hope dealer. I'm trying to give you some hope, you know. So Ja Morant, one of the greatest talents in the NBA, was making some choices. He's been making choices. And if you ain't no stranger to the game, even if you're not a basketball lover, you remember he got suspended. He got suspended because of some choices that he made with the people to hang around. He got suspended. Ja Morant. I mean, his road to the NBA was a story in itself. You know, but he made it to the NBA. And not only did he make it to the NBA, the brother was shining, showed must-see TV, shining. But here we are, holding up guns on videos, rolling with friends on videos with guns, jeopardizing his NBA career. These are choices. These are choices. Let's see how we operate. Ja Morant combined suspension cost him approximately $8.3 million in salary. One decision, two decisions, or who he was hanging out with, and not being sure of the type of dude that he is. You're going to be either a baller or you're going to be a thug. You're going to be a baller, you're going to be a thug. Are you going to be an NBA professional basketball player, or you going to be a thug? Because you can't do both. Cost him $8.3 million in salary. With the larger 25-game ban in 2023, costing him around $7.6 million. The financial losses, they don't even include the endorsements. Remember, when the NBA suspended him, all his endorsement deals dropped him. And they don't drop you to pay you back later. They drop you like, this deal is null and void. We ain't paying you nothing. We done. We'll see down the line, down the years, you know, you see, but right now, we can't be associated with you because of your choices. And I don't care how much money you make. 7.6 million, 8.3 million, that's a lot of money. But they estimate, this way it get deep. They estimate it cost him over 40 million in endorsements. And another 40 million in his contract, because he would have got 39 million if he would have made the NBA All-Star game. But he was suspended. And so the NBA put a cap on the number of games you can miss and be considered an all-star. So he ain't even playing enough. He can be having an all-star season, but because you ain't playing enough games, you can't make it to the all-star game. So we talking 40 million that he missed by not making it to the all-star game. Guys, all I'm saying is if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And we got to start somewhere making better choices. And it starts with deciding who you are, what you stand for. When I was coming up in the game, I thought I was going to be a world class. They call me world class Willie. I was a sprinter. I thought I was fast. That's how I got the nickname Chill. Chill. I run so fast. Ooh, I feel there's a chill breeze coming past you when I fly by you in the 100, in the 200. That's how I remember it. My track friends might say something different, but that's kind of how I remember it. But because I was going to be a world-class track star, because I was going to make it to the Olympics, and then I was going to dibble-dabble in football. I was going to be like Willie Gault on the Chicago Bears. I was going to be like Ronaldo Nehemiah, a world-class U.S. Olympian who switched to football. I was going to play both. I was going to be a track star, a football star. Man, so you know what I didn't do? I didn't smoke weed. I didn't smoke cigarettes. I didn't drink a lot. I didn't hang with the riffraff. And I grew up in Jeffrey Mountain. There's plenty of riffraff to hang out with. Went to Hyde Park Academy, Indian Love, class of 88. Y'all know what it is. But I didn't hang out with the riffraff because I thought I was going to be somebody. See, who you decide you're going to be dictates. What's that saying Grandma used to say? Show me your friends of the day. I'll show you your future tomorrow. Choices. So I chose not to do all those things so I can pursue my athletic career. And as my kids know, because I've told them several times, they grown and on their own now, doing their thing. But, I had an injury that curtailed my career. Yeah, I hurt my knee, messed up my track career, messed up my football career, all because of my injury. Otherwise, the story I tell to my kids is we'd be in mansions and I would have bought them Mercedes, when they went to college and stuff like that. But my injury is what curbed my career. So that's the story we're going with. That's the story I told my kids, and I'm sticking to it. All right. Now, choices then. This last real life example I'm going to give you all. Because like I said, I won't be long, but I will be strong. Man, the football season kicked off last week. I like to use these current events. And my Cowboys are playing them dreaded, them nasty, them dirty, them down good, no good for nothing Philadelphia Eagles. First game of the season. So on Thursday night football, the world is watching. All right, we're about to get it on. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking we're about to get crushed. But in my heart, I'm thinking we're about to get it on. We're going to line up against the world champions, Philadelphia Eagles. I got my brother over there, Hurts, one of the best quarterbacks in the league who don't get enough credit. I hate he on the Eagles because I can't really cheer for him like I want to, but I'm so glad he's working out and doing well because one of my favorite football players from college to the pros, he's the man. He's the real deal over there doing his thing. But I can't stand he play for them darn Eagles. And so here we are. The world is watching. The game don't even start yet. I got my $50 million quarterback, Dak Prescott. It is what it is. I mean, he is $50 million quarterback. If he worth it, we can have another discussion about that later. But that's my QB. That's my man. I got to rock with him. He must start the quarterback. He on the squad. I got to believe. That's what this fan thing is all about. You got to believe. You got to believe in something or you fall for anything. And so, man, I looked up. The game ain't started. I'm getting everything ready because the kickoff just happened. That got the offense and the defense on the field. Next thing I know, I see spit flying. Spit flying. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles dude spit on America's quarterback. What's going on here? He spit on Dak Prescott, the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. That's an atrocity. And I said, what's going on that would make a brother choose? We're talking about choices. Choose to spit on another brother. Choose to spit on another brother during the game, choose to spit on another brother over a game. Are we playing as a game? Choose to spit on another brother in a game, national TV, the world watching. Choices. What's the choices? I'ma spit on you over a football game. Ah, what choices we making here? I'ma spit on you with the referee standing right there. It ain't like he tried to do a top secret G14 classified spit. Eh, Right there. I heard people trying to say, well, Dak spit at him. Even if Dak spit at him, he didn't spit on him. Two wrongs don't make a right. We're talking about choices. Because I was actually on the East Coast when that happened. I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, working with a treatment court, doing some contract work, helping them good people over there, work with the people who were incarcerated or justice involved, doing some things over there, trying to get people second, third, and fourth chances. That's what I do, baby. I told you I'm like SWAT. All right. I'm special forces. I'm special ops. So I was over there helping those people do their thing. But you spit on this dude. And so if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. There's no reason to. So look, I looked it up. Jalen Carter is a defensive back name. Now, everybody know Dak wasn't trying to spit on him, first of all, because Jalen Carter is one of the best defensive tackles in the game. And the last person a quarterback want to get mad at him is the dude that's going to be the one sacking him for the most part. That's the last dude that I want to. So Dak, for those who came up with this myth in their mind that Dak was trying to spit on him, this is just crazy. In fact, Dak is the one who's won the Man of the Year award. Dak is the one that has all the awards for his character. It was Jalen who be struggling with the character issues. He barely made it out of college without getting arrested for some issues. He even had issues with the coach last year. He had issues. So this brother, but that's a whole nother, I ain't downing him for that, but it is what it is. So if you take a look at the histories here, we got one dude with a history of making not the best choices. All right. So look, but I looked it up because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Jalen Carter is on a 4-year, $21 million rookie contract. I'm talking about choices. 4-year, $21 million rookie contract. People say $21 million. Yeah, $21 million. I'll take it. But of course, the players say, the ballers say, hey, out of that $21 million, we got to take out taxes. Out of that $21 million, I got to pay my my representatives and my people and my agent. Out of that $21 million, by the time everybody take out of it what they take out of it, man, it's down to maybe like $10 million, $11 million. Like they missing a meal, but that's still a lot of money. But anyway, 4-year, $21 million contract. Now, this is where it get when we talk about choices. He in his 3rd year of the contract. He signed a 4-year contract. This year number 3. Anybody who knows sports knows that he's just entering his peak of it. He ain't even got there yet. He got a couple of more contracts to sign. But everybody who play football know that the football players, because of the high risk of injury in the sport, they don't like to play on that last year of their contract without a new extension already laid out. Because if they get hurt, then I don't get no more money. I might not get any more money. So here we are, a dude on a 4-year contract in the 3rd year of his contract. This is when he wants to start renegotiating. All right? Don't make dollars that don't make sense. So he's eligible for a huge deal. I'm talking about this dude is good. Jalen Carter is good. He's a game wrecker. He's good. They talking about when he signs this new deal, it could be one of the biggest contracts ever for a non-quarterback type of player. That's big money. That's big business. So what he does this year, what his stats are this year, greatly influence the money he gonna get paid. And he starts the year off choosing to spit on somebody. This year right here, this NFL season that we're about to play is going to decide how good you're going to do this year. It's going to decide how much money you're going to get on your next contract. and you decide to start the year off by spitting on somebody. The game ain't even started yet. Like they really hadn't played the offense, and the special teams is the only people that played. So the offense and the defense ain't even had a snap yet. If you know what goes on in football, they about to play. So we ain't like something happened in the trenches. It ain't like this happened or that happened or he shoved me in the neck. No, we ain't even really started playing yet. We haven't had a snap. In one of the most important years of my career, I choose to start it off by spitting on the starting quarterback on national TV of the Dallas Cowboys on opening night of the NFL season. That's how I started off. Choices. Now, these choices that I'm giving you examples of, they happen on a grander scale because it's the NFL. But I'm here to tell you, I saw brothers making these type of decisions every day in the game of life on your level. Yeah, I get it. It's levels to this. But by the same token, we making the same type of decisions every day with what we doing in our lives. What choices are you making is what I'm asking, guys. What choice? And I ain't there, this ain't a pop quiz. I don't expect you to email me or call it. I can't pass or fail you. Only you can pass or fail you. But what choices are you making to better your life? Are you making choices to survive or are you making choices to thrive? Are you choosing to do what everybody else is doing? Smoke weed, no skills. Are you walking around with a white t-shirt, jeans, just like everybody else? Are you choosing to be disrespectful to your own women, to your own brothers? And guess what? When Jalen spit on Dak is a black quarterback. Man, we choose to disrespect our own in such a way. We just talking about a football game. It ain't like Dak. Even if Dak talked about his mama, hey, I didn't play basketball on my level at the Y in the park. We didn't talk about people's mamas before. When you compete, especially against people that you know and love, it can be some shoving, it could be some fighting, it could be some words, and this is against your best friends. So we ain't talking about some type of atrocity happening. We talking about just playing a game. And let me tell you, my breakdown is the NFL didn't even suspend him for spitting on another player. They said that the refs kicked you out of that game, and so that's enough. But I guarantee you, if Jalen would have spitted on Joe Burrow, I guarantee you, if he would have spit on Josh Allen, I guarantee you, if he would have spit on some of the golden boys of the NFL, he probably would have got suspended. But when we choose to devalue our own people, it makes it easy for everybody else to choose to devalue us too. So Jalen didn't even get suspended. He forfeited his game day salary of $57,000. $57,000 for spitting. And everybody about respect. I've been doing this for a long time. Everybody is about, I got people in jail because of respect. I'd rather go back to jail than to be disrespected. Everybody is on respect. Choosing to disrespect your brother in the ultimate way by spitting on them. We talking about choices. But I do want that big contract at the end of this year. That's one less game Jalen plays. Those are less sacks. So since he didn't get no sack, that's one game that he didn't play where no stats are accumulated. Now remember, this is my contract negotiating season. At the end of the season, I'm gonna say, pay me now. Give me this. I started off by spitting on somebody and getting kicked out the game. I don't accumulate any stats. It don't make dollars. It just don't make sense. Now it's just one game because when he spit on him, everybody thought the NFL was gonna suspend him for at least one game or two games. So he dodged a bullet with that. But guess what? That's still one game that he doesn't accumulate stats. And suppose he get hurt in week 9, in week 11, then there are some games that he's not going to accumulate stats. It is NFL. NFL stands for not for long. So here he is making choices that could possibly cost him money, that can change the course of his life. Oh man, we winding down here. So I'm gonna close this thing out today. I'm gonna close it out for you all. Choices. Yeah, choices. Most important things that you can make. Choosing not to be a B&B. Yeah, that's what I said. A B&B. Will, what's a B&B? Y'all want to know what a B&B is? A bare minimum brother. You got to choose not to be a bare minimum brother. All right? Your choices today affect your tomorrow. I'm always give y'all some movie quotes. I like this movie. The movie said, one of my favorite movies was Set It Off. And the movie Set It Off, at the beginning of it, Chloe, who was Queen Latifah's character, was sitting up on a roof with Jada Pinkett and the rest of the characters. And I remember Jada was asking Queen Latifah's character, Chloe, she said, hey, what are you gonna do tomorrow? Like, where you see yourself at in 2 years, 5 years? And Chloe, who was Queen Latifah's character, said, hey, I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm just trying to make it through the day. And that's real talk. I ain't knocking it. I get it. I understand it. I'm just trying to make it through today. But how can you make tomorrow better if all you're doing is living for today? If you living for today, guess what? Today is gonna actually end. Oh man, I got to give y'all this thought. I got this thought while I was driving on Interstate 290, coming over here to IntellectualRadio.com, coming here thinking about talking cool. I'm your host with the most, Will Smith. Just had to throw that in there real quick. If you want to know who you listen to, God gave me this thought. And I think I got the gift. God gives me this gift. He gives me these thoughts. And I got the gift and I got to use it. Oh, I like that. I got the gift and I got to use it. So he gave me this thought. If you living for today, today gonna end. Today gonna be over. 12 o'clock tonight, 11:59 tonight. It ain't gonna be today no more. But guess what about tomorrow? If you ain't thinking about tomorrow, tomorrows keep coming. See, today is over when it's over. You can't get it back. But tomorrows, they keep coming. So when today is here, it's going to be a tomorrow. It's always going to be another tomorrow. It ain't going to be another today. Oh. So you got to make decisions that's going to impact tomorrow as well. It ain't just about today. To improve, you got to think about tomorrow. Man, I give y'all like this. And I'm gonna wind it down. We get ready to wind this thing down. Man, my man, point guard. I'm trying to be in the house at the United Center in February when Derrick Rose number is retired as a member of the Chicago Bulls. But I remember Derrick when he was playing. I remember when he was balling. I remember when he was turning it out on the West Side, the Madhouse on Madison. I remember the year Derrick Rose said, I'm be league MVP. That wasn't a today thought. That was a tomorrow thought. I said, Derrick, what's your hopes for the upcoming season? He said, I'm be league MVP. Oh, but Derrick, you're so young. So many great players out there. Man, I'm gonna be league MVP. Derrick wasn't thinking about today. He was making a choice for the type of dude, the type of player he wanted to be for tomorrow. And because he made that choice, and he said it out loud, he took that chance. I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going to be league MVP. Guess what Derrick Rose was that year? The most valuable player of the National Basketball Association. We're talking about making choices that don't just affect your today, but they influence who you are and what you are tomorrow. When you asking me, when we're talking about, hey, Will, what do I need to do to be successful, to elevate, to go to the next level? You need to make some choices. What you standing on? You need to make some choices about who you are. You need to make some choices about what you are going to be and who you gonna be. All right, y'all see, for those out there in radio land, you can't see the shirt I got on, but for those out there in TV land, I got on my one of my favorite shirts. It says Hope Dealer. Dope dealer? Nope dealer. I'm a hope dealer. And if I can give you some hope, if I give you hope, there's no telling what you can't do. And so as we close the show down, as my producer Wanda gets ready to bring in the music, I'm gonna hit you with this last words. I'm gonna always end the show with this quote right here. This is one of my favorite quotes from W.E.B. Du Bois. He says, "There's no stronger force known to the world than a man determined to rise." Oh, there's no stronger force known to the world than a man determined to rise. All I'm saying, fellas, people out there, choose to rise and watch what happens. We out of here. This is Talking Cool, IntellectualRadio.com. I'm your host with the most, Will Smith. Till next week.